and they can use pop gun, and then they can push it and it will pop. Hi, I'm miltonchang of Bonsaiheirloom, and I'll do 2 hackberry. This is actually the first time I do a hackberry tree, which is actually one of my favorite deciduous tree. These are Chinese Hackberry. In fact, I started these from seeds. The one thing good about, they're very much like elm. They're in the elm family. And the nice thing about them is that they branch out very quickly. This is actually a 1 or 2 year old seedling. You can see it's already got some branching. And if I do a little bit of clipping, it will branch out fairly quickly. And also, the trunk gets thick very quickly. And it's one interesting note is that it has little berries, very round, and it has a slightly soft shell before it's dry. And they're very uniform in size. So in China, naughty boys would take a bamboo, take a piece of bamboo, section of bamboo, that's about a little bit smaller than the diameter of that, and they can use pop gun. So they put one in the front and put one in the back, and then they can push it and it will pop quite far. So that's an interesting note about hackberry. So what I would do is that this is just a random seedling, which is not that big a deal, but I think you'll enjoy seeing how this develop. I would say in 2 years at max, this will be a very full shohin bonsai that's pretty respectable. So elm tree is predominantly what we offer because I think that's the best material. But Bonsaiheirloom will someday also offer Chinese Hackberry. And Chinese Hackberry has the advantage over the American Hackberry and a lot of the other Hackberry varieties is that the leaves are a little bit more glossy and they reduce in size. It does have a very big flaw, this tree, is that they are very susceptible to mealybugs, that kind of a thing. So if you're not careful, the leaves will become brown, kind of with a kind of like a black powdery stuff. So occasionally, I would say, if you you do not like to use chemicals, I would say a little squirt of alcohol from time to time would really be very, very good. So with that, then let me take this tree out and work on this first. Then I'll take this tree out and work on it to show you this is how you start and this is potentially what you can finish with. This tree, I would say it's been in the ground for about 15 years. And I dug it up about 3 years ago to put in this pot. I did a major carving, and it's growing out again. So actually today, for the sake of demonstration, I will actually put in a bonsai pot so that you can see that's the process from a garden tree into a bonsai, at least the start of a bonsai. So let me take the tree out. And again, always to work on the top first, the base, the first. See, this is just a plain garden soil. I planted this maybe 3 to 6 months ago from a bunch of seedlings, I guess probably 6 months ago. You can see how much roots has grown. It's a very vigorous grower. So what I'll do is I'll first remove the soil on top to get the root structure. You can see the roots are spreading out nicely. Here, 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 here. So I'm not going to work with much about the roots. Like this one is up, so I just cut it off. I don't need it. Otherwise, it will be kind of sticking up on top because the bottom will take over to be at about the same height as the other roots. So with that, then I put it back in the pot. Well, I'll start to work on it. It's really easy. So this is a bark branch. One goes out this way, one comes out that way. It's not very pretty. And this is going that way, which is a little bit weird. But on the other hand, it'd be nice to fill out this hole here too. So let me do this. It's not quite right at this point, but I'll do this. and then encourage this to grow out, and then maybe cut it here so that this branch would shoot out here to look less like a bark branch. Bark branch means two branch going out like that, which is not very artistic. Like this branch is going the wrong direction, so I can bend it a little bit. So it's this one I could have bent it a little bit. And this one, ideally, I like to shoot it out about here, and most here. So what I'll do is I'll cut it here, and then cut it here so that this will branch out to look like a tree. I don't have to wire, I can just bend it a little bit and it will stay put. So that's basically it. It's that quick to make a bonsai, a shohin bonsai. Now, if I put it in this pot, you can see it's not unreasonable, right? And so maybe I turn it a little bit to make the tree go like this. So that's what you do to make a shohin bonsai very quickly. And so I encourage you to do that. Buy a small tree and start clipping, and you will soon learn the process. With that in mind, then, I like to put it back in this growing pot to speed up the process, because I like this trunk to be about this size and the tree about this tall. I think that would be magnificent. Okay? And this, like, it's accentuated a little bit too much out this way, but on the other hand, why not? I cut it here so that, you know, it will fill out this hole nicely in an accentuated way. But you can also know that the buds are sprouting. It's a very early sprouting kind of a tree, and the leaf stays on a long time. It takes a long time for it to fall in the winter time. So there's a lot of virtue for this Chinese Hackberry to be a good material. And look at this root. It's up on top, and there's the one at the bottom that's much thicker. So why not use the bottom one? So that's what I do. Just cut the roots very quickly. You have roots go out this way, this way. This way, this one is a little bit going in. So I cut it here to encourage this side to grow out, and this to grow, this to grow. So it'll be nice radially spread out roots. So this is a 15-year-old hackberry. It was planted in a growing pot like this. You can see the little greens are starting to pop out. That's why I want to do it now. It's a good time to repot them. And as I said, this tree has the advantage, virtue, that the ramification grows out fairly quickly, in a sense of it branching out pretty quickly. So that makes it a good material. So first of all, I want to, again, work on the roots first, because if the roots are no good, there's nothing more you can do later on. Whereas the top, you can always cut off some branches and recover very quickly. So the tree has a pretty good root structure. You see this root, kind of like a thick one, but if I cut it off here, then it will all go into this root. So that's a nice root going out. And this will be cut off, and then this will come out. And this is a nice root. And so over time, this one is a little too high, and it's right over this one, so I'll probably cut it off. And so that's a root structure, which is, I think this is fine. And then this, the apex, I think this is slanted too much. I'd rather have it like a little bit of informal upright, so you can see this tree is kind of the roots like that, with the soil cover up to here. And then this come down, and then this tree goes up. It's fairly pleasant. So that's what I'll do, and I would, in fact, put it in a bonsai pot to position it and try to shape it this way. Yeah, this is about perfect. Look at this. Maybe I'll accentuate a little bit by putting that in the corner and this more to the middle. Do you see it? You really want a tree to look both good and front and back. So let me put a little soil here to pop it up. Right, so with that in mind, then I'll just put the soil in and get to work. Well, what I'm doing, first of all, is to putting my liner, mosquito screen liner, to do it for root cutting purposes. So I line the bottom of this. Then I'll put in some good soil, my good soil mix, into the bottom, which, as I always say, the standard mix is 1 part sandy loam from my from my farm, and then 1 part perlite, and 1 part either coconut coir or speculum moss. And then I'll push it to the side to keep the screen out to the side. And then I'll put the tree in to position. And I'm not going to cut off the roots because I want to encourage growth as much as I can. I don't need to arrange them, but I surely like them to. This is going to stick out a little bit, so I need to push the back down a little bit so that this can be hidden. And I try to stuff as much of the soil in the bottom as I can, so there's no gaping holes. And after I water it for a month or two, a week or two, I should come here and fill the soil again, because it tends to sink quite a bit, because the mix is very loose no matter how hard I push it. For most of my tree varieties, I advocate, just cut the hole and let it heal over. Now this tree, I need to be a little bit more careful because the wood tends to be a little soft. The wood is hard, but it's also tend to rot. And so eventually, when it heals quite a bit, I would probably put in some epoxy to seal it, and then let the bark heal over. And the same thing here. But you see, that's just starting to heal, so I let it grow a bit. When it heals over, I would cover it with the epoxy. You can see the roots are hidden. Seems that they are going perfectly well, but even though it's going a little bit in the wrong direction below. Okay, now with that, then I just come to the front and do a little clipping to give it the final shaping. So let me rotate this bonsai to show you what it looks like before I clip it. Because to clip it, you try to direct the branches in the direction you want the eye to follow, so it will look a little different. This looks very messy, but that's what you start with usually. And like this branch, this root, it's going kind of a little bit farther out. I'd rather it come in back here a little bit towards this direction. So I'll push it a little bit and snuggle it back down. Even if I break it a little bit, it will root out and it'll be fine. And so then the roots, when it grows thicker, it will look like it's in the right place. You just have to push it down, it will stay put. You see now it's a little bit in a better angle than going this way. So you have to be careful with roots when they're young, when you can still manipulate them. And like this branch, this root goes down, there's nothing on that side, so this will thicken and to look more natural. And like I said early on, this one is the wrong angle, but maybe I could clip it here to see if there's any roots underneath. Maybe this would look nice someday. I'll push it down. And this root shouldn't be coming back. It should be going this way. So I cut it off here. So hopefully this will root out to make this thing thicken. Or for that matter, it doesn't matter if that doesn't happen, because this is plenty thick to accentuate this roots on this side. Okay, with that in mind then, I will now clip away the tree to give it the final shaping. And then I'll show you I would say every 3 to 6 months to give you an update. So first of all, you want the apex to be kind of towards this way. So you want to do maybe this. So this is the upright. And I would like this branch to grow and like maybe a branch come out this way. So you just do what you think, and you have plenty of room to make corrections later on until you get it right. So I'm just really clean off the redundant branch that distracts the basic design. I'll just clean off a redundant branch, like this is overlapping. And when in doubt, I leave it just so that it may be coming in handy later on. Like this is obviously too high relative to this, but on the other hand, this branch going out is nice, so I cut it here to encourage the growth of the other one. So this one comes out in the back, and then this will come out. See, just doing nothing more than clean up. It's actually fairly quick. I think 5 or 10 minutes of my time can do a lot. I'll leave this branch so that it can grow the branch quickly. You can see it's cleaned up a lot. I'm not worrying about cutting off thick branches because the thin branches will stick out really quickly. So that it's important to get the branch to exactly the right location and go from there. So this tree was left alone to grow wild. And then now I'm cleaning it up, and I have a lot of branches to work with, which is a good thing, to get it to the shape that I want quickly. I tell you, in 3 months, this tree will be quite full, and I will show you again what it looks like in a sense of what happened to the way I directed it turn out. And you can learn quite a bit from that. Again, it's very subjective. Anything that works, because you always have a chance to rework it when a lot of leaves are growing, when a lot of branches are growing. This is the tree, the front, and that's the side. Number 1 branch, so to speak, and number 2, number 3, so forth. And you can see this will heal over to give it a nice looking feature. And I'll try to fill the hole, as I said, so that it doesn't rot through. Even if it rots through, it's fine. The tree will be healthy, not a problem. In short, today I introduced you to Hackberry, which I think is a very, very desirable material. The bark is pretty gray and some tremendous amount of ramification as it being nurtured. And so I started by working on this less than 2-year-old seedling. They grow very fast, but I put it back in the this pot for another year before I put it in a bonsai pot. It will make a nice shohin bonsai very quickly. And then, and this is a tree that I put in the ground, a seedling I put in the ground about 25 years ago, and it's grown, and I cut it maybe, I think 15 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I cut it to put it into the bonsai growing pot, and that's the result. And today I reorient a little bit to make the apex sticking up a little bit more and put it in this, basically I did the whole potting using my standard mix, which is 1 part sandy loam, 1 part perlite, and 1 part peat moss. And I'll show you again in the 3 to 6 month time frame. You will see tremendous amount of progress, a lot of green, very quickly. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Encourage me with your like, and subscribe to our channel, because we got a lot of good bonsai coming, just like this. Actually, it's really quite nice. So stay tuned. We'll see you next week. Thank you.